Welcome to the Unknown Options, the place where we explore the unknown options. My name is Will, and today we have with me Naod, technology engineer. Tell us a little about yourself, Naod.
What's going on? Yes, Naod, a technology engineer. I'm at my current company, a big tech company, and basically, so I've been in the tech industry for since about full time since 2019. Internships and stuff during college, starting around 2017, and I've just been navigating around there. I started off kind of in the same position now, but a little more technical. I'm known as what's called a technology engineer, which is within this business unit called client engineering. Essentially, I'm a cloud engineer that's within the sales organization, preferably pre-sales. So I work with people such as solution architects. I work with some technical account managers, data scientists, etc. And essentially, when I first got my first role, I was in this kind of position, but it wasn't around. We weren't doing this kind of work before. It was more so like it was consulting, but not really consulting. So then afterwards, the team actually, there was like a reorg, and then the team kind of just moved all their technical folks into technical heavy roles. So then after that, I became a full stack cloud engineer for one of our biggest products. And I was just doing heavy tech work. And I recently just got back into this role because I missed the client facing aspects and being able to talk with other clients and also like talk about processes, solutions, and how design and kind of bring it to life, right? So I wanted that change in pace from being heavy in the technical side and kind of just having more like human interaction because I love speaking to people. So a little bit about my role today. Essentially, if we take the whole sales, the sales process, right, within technical sales, so there's going to be someone such as like a brand seller, or it could be called a tech seller. This is the person that'll go and kind of do the prospecting, right? So prospecting, cold calling, cold emailing. These are the people that would kind of go out and they would kind of find clients, right, and kind of sell the technology. And so the clients that would want to come and pursue the technology, right, and this is a whole suite of technologies under one cloud umbrella. These are all cloud solutions, either for data, security, AI, etc. Like we got it all at where I'm at. And so they would bring them into a meeting. And in that initial meeting, it would be the brand seller. And then they would have what's called a technical specialist, somebody who kind of knows all about the products in a deep dive. And they would kind of sell to the person, hey, like this is your system. And we see that you kind of have a gap right here. And this is like where our product could help you. And they kind of just go with the client. And when the client feels like, oh, okay, so this is like, I like how this product is going. I really do feel like this can help me. So how can I kind of see like what this will look like, right? And so that's when I step in as the technology engineer, or what's called the cloud engineer. Some places call me a customer engineer. It's all under the same umbrella. When going for a role such as mine, there are different names for it at different companies. So that's something you have to watch out for. But it's all under designing solutions, developing MVPs, and also doing proof of concepts as well. So I would come in and kind of show them what a proof of concept would look like with their systems and our systems, and kind of develop either an application, do a demo, or just something that shows them something technical that they can kind of see and also use, and how it would apply to their systems. And this is just, this isn't a finished product, right? This is a proof of concept. So basically what that means is it kind of shows like an introduction into what they can have later. And then if they want to go through with that and kind of say like, hey, so this is something that we really do like we want to explore this further, then we would work with them in these, where I'm at, we do co-creation sessions. So that's kind of where we bring all of our technology engineers, also known as cloud engineers, that's me, data scientists, and solution architects would all come together, and then they'd bring some of their people, right, that work kind of in their dev environments. It's a little like consulting, but not really consulting. But they bring in their people, and we kind of come together and create a product that they would like to use. And once the person is satisfied with what's been created, then later on that goes to the post sales people, right? So there are solution architects in post sales. This would be customer success folks and technical account managers. These are people that just kind of keep in touch with people after the sale and kind of investigate where else we could help, right? Where else like our company could help, where else we could develop, and just more opportunity for us to bring more revenue to our business. So I hope that kind of explains it for you.
Yeah, and that was a great description, and you kind of hit on my next question, and you're in the end of your answer. Why is I guess technology engineering important, and like what are like the perks that it I guess the pros that it contributes to like the general public or society?
Sure. So why technology engineering is important, also called customer engineering, and also called a cloud developer in pre-sales. I just say this because, hey, it's not just like one term. So if you try and Google this, like you're probably not going to find what you want to find, right? So
now, would it also be called like is because I know at my company, is customer success, would that be similar kind of?
So customer success is kind of like in the post-sales realm. So customer success is like, I'm still kind of in pre-sales, but customer success is like, oh, okay, like they've adopted the product. Now the customer success people would like be like, hey, like, is this okay? Do you still need more? And then they'd come back and knock on my door. Hey, he still needs more. Like, let's get the next. Does that make sense?
Yeah, perfect.
Essentially, why we're important is because once something is sold to somebody. So basically, let me make an analogy for you, right? Like, say I'm selling like a sack of bricks, right? I'm selling a sack of bricks. And it's like some type of high quality brick that's going to work for your type of landscape or whatever, right? So I'm selling it to you. They're like, oh, okay, well, this is pretty good, but how do I know it's going to work? Because it's like, you don't want to buy the brick and then go ahead and build the brick, and then like just like build like a wall, small shed, whatever you want to do, and then you see it's not going to work, and then you're going to be dissatisfied, and then that brings bad business to my organization or whatever. So the technology engineers, that's where we come in. We're like, hey, or the brand seller is going to have the brick, and the technical specialist is going to tell you all about the brick, and then I'm going to come in and kind of like build you up like kind of like I'm sorry, there was a quick message I had to see, but I come in and I take the bricks and I'm just like, okay, so let me show you an example. So and then you also, there's another, every organization is kind of different. So those initial meetings that you have with me and, these bricks, like we'll talk about solutions, like do like design thinking workshops, like kind of, there'll be design thinking workshops are like the ones you've seen in like, PMs will use it. It's kind of like a whiteboard that's like split right here and just sticky notes all around, like where we can think of a solution.
Okay.
So me and you, right? I have the bricks, and then you tell me what you want the bricks for, what you want it to build, what it kind of looks like, this, that, and the fourth. And I'm over here, I'm talking to you, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I go ahead and I'll build you something with the bricks. Those initial conversations are kind of cost free. Are most of the time cost free when it comes to different organizations. Where I'm at, it's cost free. But then when it comes to when I show you something and you're like, okay, like let's kind of like go with a solution, and let me bring like some people from my crew, and you bring people from your crew, and then we kind of work hand in hand while I'm showing you like, okay, this is what the brick can do. It can hold this much weight. And your people was like, okay, cool. Like we had a vision of doing the bricks this way, and we come to a solution together. That's kind of like where you start getting build, and it's kind of like co-investing, right? So it's like we bring our people in our time, which is me, and you bring your people in your time, and it kind of benefits the other person because they kind of have a full view of what they are going to expect, right? And that's kind of why it's good for them. So the pros of this is, one, it gives whoever you're selling to like a full perspective of what they're going to get, right? It's not just like here and then, all right, cool. Like, it's like, that's really big when it comes to a business, right? So you don't want to have bad business. Like you want to make sure people know what they're buying, right? So that's like me, I'm developing like a solution, and it doesn't have to be something out the box. Like I work with who you have to build this brick house or brick shed that you need, right? So it kind of like starts you off with the work. So that's another thing.
Okay.
Another pro is it's kind of like it's in pre-sales, right? It's in a sales organization. So there's room for what's called an OTE, on target earning or incentive, or like if you're like a super salesy person, it's like commissions. Like this is probably sales role. So technical roles within sales all have some type of commission type structure or on target earning. It could either be from individually, like the tech sellers or whatever, or it could be like a team quota based on how the whole team does and everyone gets a part of the pie. So another pro is it's kind of like you're a developer and you're still technical, but you're getting more than your salary as well, while still having a base salary as somebody who's technical. Cause I don't know if you know, but like usually sellers, they're kind of like on a split, right? It's like 70-30 or like 60-40. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they have that split. So they don't get their full salary unless like they're making their sales and they get their commission and like a little bit more on top. Like us, like we start with a developer salary and we get like bonuses here and there. And sometimes they're quarterly, sometimes they're 2 times a year, but just you'll see more of what you put in, if that makes sense. So those are 2 pros. And I guess the third pro is you're always learning, right? So you're always seeing different situations from different clients, and you'll be able to kind of use those same methods to use on other clients. And you're always learning new information. So it kind of makes you a better developer, a better technical person all around. And it just kind of gives you that best of both worlds, right? You kind of get to be in tech, but at the same time, you're kind of like in business as well. So you're not just like on your computer all day, not seeing any daylight, right? So you can just come out and see people. So that's my answer to that question.
Yeah, great answer. I guess now that we've explained a lot about what the job is, like the pros of it, I guess could you tell us like your journey to becoming a technology engineer from like I guess high school, if it's relevant, to college, and then to the current company that you're at now, and then can you highlight to the interview processes and like maybe the how tough they were, if they were easy, how easy they were, and then like maybe how many rounds there were, so people can get a little understanding of that.
Sure. So starting from high school, I didn't know what I really wanted to do. I told myself I was going to be an electrical engineer, right? So my family, you kind of pick from like 3 things: engineer, doctor, lawyer. So I was like, I'm good at math. I'm going to be an engineer. I don't know what kind, but we're going to rock with it, right?
Yeah.
And then so originally when I went to college, I started off as an electrical engineer major. It wasn't really for me. And then I took one coding class. It was C++ during my electrical engineering curriculum. And I went to UNC Charlotte, go Niners. It was that was probably the most fun class that I had the whole time. And I was just kind of like, why not just change? So my sophomore year, I changed. And that's when everything just started like piecing together that I love technology. I loved coding. And I thought I wanted to be like this heavy developer. Like I want to make the next Instagram. I want to make this. I want to make that. Like I want to develop everything. Mm-hmm. And so I had internships that were kind of like dev heavy, like web development. I did back end development. And then I was doing a lot of heavy development. Then my first role coming into the current company that I'm in my current company, I've been across like 3 roles. And like I said, I kind of started in this sales organization, but I was more heavy in development because that's how it was built. And then once we had the reorganization, that's when I knew it was going to be kind of salesy. And I was just kind of like, sales, like I didn't go like to the college for 4 years for sales. Like it's not what I want to do. And I had no knowledge. I just wanted to develop, solve problems, etc. So that's why I moved to be a full stack cloud developer. I did back end as well. Like I was heavy in back end, but they kind of called me full stack. So wherever you go, you're going to wear a lot of hats, and they're going to give you one title and you're going to do probably the opposite. Maybe a lot of places do that. So forewarning to the listeners. But so when I got into this role, I started thinking like, hey, like started kind of getting tired of like doing just straight development all the time. Right. And I kind of wanted something new. And I kind of realized that, hey, like I love technology and I love this process, but doing it all the time is just mentally draining for me. And I like more so the teaching aspect of it. And I like to walk people through it and walk people through solutions, design solutions, etc. And I like to start on the solution, but I don't want to take on the whole weight every single time because that's just something that doesn't excite me anymore. So
Okay.
that's kind of where I came to this role where I kind of have the best of both worlds, right? I get to kind of teach and design solutions while I can still do my development aspect as well and kind of like always learn and have this conceptual knowledge of technology, cloud, whatever else is out there, AI, whatever else. So the reason why I came to this role is because the learning portion and the opportunity to put my foot, like both feet in like just two different buckets, right? And always learn. So going into the interview process, so for this role, I kind of I was reached out to on LinkedIn, and it was from a recruiter. There was three interviews. First one was just kind of like how what do you know, kind of like conceptual knowledge about cloud, microservices, etc. And then the second one was kind of a technical interview, like whiteboarding, but it was very, very easy because
What's now? Sorry to stop you. What's because I mean, I guess I want to give our viewers a little, like me, I personally not even viewers, me. I don't know anything. What's whiteboarding?
whiteboarding. So this is what's called like a coding challenge, right? I don't know if you guys have heard of lead code before, but it's basically like they give like a scenario or some type of problem, right? So there's one that's like kind of like develop or what's the famous one? Let me think of one. Or you could just say one where it's like, all right, so make a program that takes in a string and like spits it out backwards or something like that, right? And you would just develop that. They have them for any language: C++, Java, JavaScript, Python, etc. And all big tech companies, or just a lot of companies who have technical roles use this coding challenge technical assessment format where they ask you something. And Leak Code is actually a platform where you could practice these problems over and over again. Pro tip: it's very, very important for these types of challenges to understand data structures and algorithms. Those are your weapons. So it's kind of like the prompt is like your battle, and then your data structure is your weapon. Knowing the language in and out is not really too important. You definitely should know what language that you're writing in, but a lot of it you can do pseudocode, but it's just solving the problem is the biggest part. So once you understand the data structures, you can kind of do it from there. But full transparency, I was never the greatest at it, and it's a very hard concept to grasp, but it's a practice type of thing. There's no like, you can watch so many videos, but you just need to practice on your own. So that's kind of like what whiteboarding is, because back in the day, like, or even now, like you would walk in person, right? And then there would be a whiteboard behind you. They'd be like, okay, so code me out this. And you just kind of like write it out. And you could do pseudocode. You could draw arrows. You could do whatever you want. Nowadays, it's kind of like they have like these generated assessments and you just kind of type it in however you feel. So yeah, so that's what whiteboarding is. But getting back to my interview process, after that, I passed that. And then third round, I got flown out to New York. And then I just kind of had like 4 behavioral assessments. And then one was kind of technical, but more so conceptual knowledge. So that's kind of like what my interview process looked like. But if you wanted to get into anywhere technical, like if you want a heavy development role, a technical assessment will most likely be there for you. But if you want to do a role that's kind of like in the sales organization, but still kind of heavy in tech, there won't be a lot of whiteboarding assessments. And that's kind of like the backdoor entry, right? So you can still do what you want to do, but you don't have to go through that type of assessment because you're not necessarily like a heavy developer. So that's not something that you always get counted for. And that's kind of like the backdoor mindset that I've been having, because like I'm terrible at those. So anytime I get the opportunity to avoid that, then I will. I promise I will.
Okay.
I hope that answers your question.
Oh yeah, it did. It did definitely. Well, I mean, that was like most of my entry questions. This is what we call the not so speed round. We're gonna ask you 4 questions. Not necessarily tough. Just I guess thought provocative. I guess, and then I mean just answer however you choose to answer it. The first question is, what would happen to society if this job didn't exist?
That's a good question. Still learning about this job as I go, right? But what would happen to society if this job didn't exist? I think there would be a lot of like companies who adopt cloud solutions because every company has, who's not a tech company, they're using somebody's like cloud solution, like AWS, Google, like Microsoft, like IBM. They all have cloud solutions, right?
Yeah.
And so the people adopting these things, if my position didn't exist or what I did didn't exist, then they would kind of be taking this in a little more blindly. They would be adopting these solutions a little more blindly. And which isn't bad. If they have the right people with them that can kind of like give them the go, that's okay. But there's nothing like somebody, if you're trying to get something from AWS, right, and you want to adopt an AWS solution for what you're doing, you would want somebody from AWS to kind of give you like a rough idea that you could see and play with.
Thanks.
Rather than your own developers kind of develop something based on what they said. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So it's kind of like you'll kind of be in the dark. That's the best how I could put it if my position didn't exist.
That makes sense. I like that answer too. I think I like this. I'm going to explain because I've asked this question like 10 times now, maybe 11. And like it's a reverse engineering of the value your job produces. So it's like it's really understanding the value that your job has, and like you said, your job provides visibility so people can understand the cloud solution that they're adopting and that they're implementing it correctly. So I think it's a really good answer. Second question: are you underpaid or overpaid as a client, as a technology engineer?
I think I'm always gonna say I'm underpaid, right?
Why do you say that? Why do you always get underpaid?
Personally, like not to be cocky, but like I feel like I always go above and beyond in the roles that I do and the work that I produce. And depending on where you're at, especially in tech, well, now like I'm kind of like in a tech like sales organization. Mm-hmm. So the more I put in, I'll kind of like get more of a level up now. I just recently entered this role, so I can't really tell you like what my commissions or whatever looks like yet. Yeah. But previous tech roles is kind of like, though you really, how much you get paid is important to the aspect of like what the work that you're doing. Right. Mm-hmm. So the work that I'm doing, I feel like I'm underpaid because, I'm doing good work, and I feel like everyone does good work. And once you get into this tech realm, you'll feel like you're getting underpaid. You'll feel like you're getting overpaid for a little bit until like you're doing these projects like, I'm salaried. So it's like, you do all these projects and it's kind of like, I'm working 9 to 5, but if there's something they need, like, I'm on salary. So it's like, they can throw that at me if they want. I'm not hourly. So
definitely.
That answers your question.
Yeah. 100%. Okay. One person, book, or event that changed the trajectory of your life and why?
That changed the trajectory of my life. One person, book that changed. Like, does this have to be like recently? Does it have to be like?
It can be any time frame. Honestly,
any time frame.
Because we're constantly growing, so yeah, any time frame works.
It's constantly growing. That changed. So could you say the question again?
Yeah, no problem. One person, book, or event that changed the trajectory of your life.
That changed the trajectory of my life. Honestly, that kind of made me so. Not trying to get too personal here, but in 2019, I lost my father.
Rest in peace.
So that changed the trajectory of like my maturity and kind of like my mindset on things. Yeah. Because like I was just kind of like, I gotta go get it on my, like I have to make sure everyone's okay, and I have to make sure I'm always handling things like how my dad did. my dad, like literally, like he's a tank. He doesn't like, he always said like, if you're sleeping more than 6 hours, then like you're lazy. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah.
like what he always told me. And like nowadays, it's like, before then I was feeling like, now like when I sleep more than like literally 7 hours, like I feel like I'm spoiling myself, right? So he instilled hard work in me, and so like that event was just kind of like, as you go on, you gotta always have faith, but like you always gotta put the work in. You always have faith, man of faith, but
Yeah.
you gotta put the work in. And then from then on, I'm always putting the work in, like every step I take, because it's kind of like every step he took, he's always thinking about who he has to take care of. And so that's kind of like where I switched my trajectory. Like it kind of like I always loved helping people like before then, but after that, it's like I was like, I have to help people. Like I have to help the people behind me. I have to do this for, just kind of like how I'm on this pod right now. Like every step I've been taking, I took this opportunity because one, like, we have a great relationship, but on the second hand, like I always want to show people and give people opportunities that like, they might not know about, and kind of teach them and help mold them in that way. So it's kind of taking that step with the thought of everyone else behind me. You know what I mean? So
Definitely.
that's kind of like the time that kind of like, just put things in motion for me, because I was still like kind of like I was about to graduate in December. So
dang, yeah. Rest in peace to Pops.
yeah, definitely.
Yes, sir. And that actually, like your answer, it's crazy because our last interviewer, that was his same answer too. He lost his father when he was really young, so it was the kind of the obviously everyone's father has plays a different role in their life, but it was the same. That his father passed away in a car accident in the Philippines when he was like I think he was 5 or younger than that, and yes, so the same answer. So it's definitely it's not a problem to get I guess get vulnerable or emotional if it is that, I guess. But you're in the ending of that last question leads and fits right into our last question. How would one get into the role of a technology engineer if they have a degree and then if they don't have a degree? Like, I guess, could you like list the steps like of how, if like, in like, let's say you're unrelated, like we know you were an electrical engineer, then you went into the web development and you were a coding phenom in college. But I guess like maybe like somebody dumb like me, if I came out of college, but like maybe I don't have a communications degree, but let's say I have a communications degree, I know what I want to do, but I heard this podcast and I want to become a technology engineer. How could I do that? And then maybe someone who's 18, just graduated high school, doesn't want to do military, doesn't want to go to college, could they become a technology engineer? And if so, how could they? What would be the steps?
Yeah, no, definitely. So I'm going to start with the person who's not going to college.
Okay.
So I'm saying if you want to get into the role that I'm doing, first and foremost, I don't know about college, but you still have to learn, right?
Yeah.
So you can either go through getting certifications of certain cloud providers. So AWS is a big hot one in the market right now. Azure is very good. And I think GCP is like probably like the third hottest. So, but number one is AWS. So a certification course for AWS, like the solution architect or the solution architect, there's 3 big ones. I think it's like three ones that I know of. It's like there's the cloud practitioner, the solution architect, and then the developer. And I think it's like a security one. I'm not sure. One of my good friends, she has a YouTube channel. She literally she's done like all of them. I think she's been on this pod like
Maya.
Yeah, Maya. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah. So like Maya, like she like if you go on her YouTube, like she shows her whole like how she did it, how much time she had to study, whatever. And she was in college still doing that. So
definitely,
it's like she could do that with college. If you don't have the pressing time of college assignments, you can do it too. Another thing I would say is a boot camp. So William, he's done practicum, so that's also one of the boot camps. You can do a data science boot camp, etc. Or if you don't want to go those routes at all, you need essentially like a good resume and a very good understanding of technical topics. But along with that, it's kind of like you also need to have you have to gear your resume to make yourself sound like or, have that experience, like kind of like a business standpoint, right? So my role is a lot of problem solving, designing solutions, not necessarily designing apps and like back end services and stuff. It's like designing solutions and building, like having results, right? So like when you're doing out your resume, it could be like kind of salesy a little bit, like make it sound like, hey, like I've done this and it's produced X amount of, like, always add numbers. That's another thing. Numbers, numbers, numbers. Like in your resume, you need numbers and you need some proof that you've done some type of technical knowledge. So you can either do the cert, you can do the boot camp, or you could just, YouTube University and then do side projects as well. There are apprenticeship programs as well. I know IBM has an apprenticeship program for data scientists, and that's basically it's kind of like an internship fellowship type of deal. And then after that, they have turnover to like get picked up by IBM, and I think Boeing has some type of apprenticeship, but all the information is out there as well. But yeah, that would be like a great way to get in there. As far as if you have a degree and then you just wanted to transition to like what I'm doing, the same things. You would just do the same things. I think you should, but if you do this, I don't think you should. If you have a degree, I think you should just do maybe one certification or like a couple YouTube videos. I don't think you have to do as much as somebody without a degree, but it would help if you both parties did the same things. And it's all about really expanding your network, using LinkedIn. Both parties have to use LinkedIn like they never used it before, and tailoring your LinkedIn for these roles, right? So I'm going to give you a little hack. So on LinkedIn, right? So say you want to be like a technology engineer, or let's say like I don't know, customer engineer. There's a header, right? So say your current role is like, I don't know, you're working at like Gap and you're like a sales rep or something, right? Obviously, you're not going to put that up there, like, because that little header is kind of like how recruiters come and find you. So in that header section, like directly under your name, you could put in the roles that you would like, and you would do it kind of like technology engineer, and then the pipe symbol on the keyboard is like this, and then it's like you would do like customer success manager, and then whatever. Obviously, you're not at these roles right now, but we're just going to call this manifestation, and then other recruiters will come, because that's kind of how they search to go find people who have these roles, and then again tailor your LinkedIn to like skills that you know about in that role, while also learning too, because it doesn't hurt to go ahead and get ahead of like the game, right? Like tailoring your LinkedIn, tailoring your resume to specific roles, and then when the time comes, study the job descriptions, go over YouTube, go over any type of Google is your friend, right? You can use ChatGPT. Like that, ChatGPT will tell you a lot,
Yeah.
It will literally like tell you how to do your resume too. So,
and the version 4 came out too yesterday.
What?
Version 4 came out, I think, 2 days ago yesterday. So
version 4 just came out. I don't know if you guys saw, but Salesforce, like, they acquired like their own version of ChatGPT like a week ago. Something like that. I have no clue, but AI is developing. So if you have any type of time on your hands, or if you want to tweak your resume, put the words AI in there. That's the number one. That's the number one buzzword in technology today. So if you have that, along with the experience of the sales type of experience, with a little technical experience, and maybe one certification under your belt written right there, the LinkedIn stuff, there's no reason why you shouldn't get a call from someone. And then after that, it's just interview prep. And then you could use Interview.io, or just you can just look on Glassdoor to also find you an interview prep of how to get for these. And also there's the last thing I want to say, there's this forum called Blind. If you're currently at a company, you use your corporate email to kind of go on there, and you would be able to it's kind of like a big Reddit, but for people who are in corporate, and you can kind of get the tea of like people in certain roles, and kind of like if they like it, if they don't like it. Use your own judgment at the end of the day, but it'll kind of give you like clarity of like what's going on in people's stuff, because people are going to be the most open on there, and it's also anonymous as well. So
definitely,
there you go.
I was first of all, great answer. Second, I was on Blind a few weeks ago looking at my company, and people out there are wilding.
I'm telling you, man.
It's man, people, man. It's the I guess anonymous social media is like the best cocaine. No, I'm playing. But people just say whatever they want when they're anonymous. But I mean, I guess it's not saying it's not true, but it's just like it's people they'll say anything. But it's Blind is a great. I just ran into it. I think you told me about it a few years ago, honestly. But I think I just used it a few weeks ago. But it's definitely a great resource.
I think I've been using it a lot. Well, it's just fun to see nowadays, right? Even if it doesn't apply to me, I just like know what's going on. Like recently, who was it? It was like Facebook. They just cut like 10K.
Yeah, today.
They're not gonna fill 5,000 roles. People at Meta just going. Because you can see the companies that people work at, but like their names will be like XYZ 123 whatever.
Can you see like other forums, like Facebook's forum?
No, yeah. So there will be a tab. I think there's more functionality on the app itself.
Okay,
but you can see like a tab of like Meta, and then it'll show on people that work at Meta, like who's talking. Right? It's about Meta too. It's like a tab. It's either the people who are at Meta or just talking about Meta.
Got you. Because there was something I was reading because I'm on Reddit a lot too. I'm not an incel because there's a lot of incels on Reddit. But somebody made a post about like they were creating a large learning model at some company, some big tech. I think it might have been Google, and they were like that when ChatGPT 4 came out 2 days ago. Like it made their like 3 years of work like kind of worthless, and like it's a really the anonymous websites or social media platforms are a really good way, like Naod said, to get like insight into like specific, specifics like subsects within companies. See if it's toxic, to see what they're building there, see what they're learning, to see how your coworkers are interacting with each other, see how management is interacting, to see if it's a job that you would actually kind of enjoy. Because I know I've seen a lot about my company in there, and I can say that most of it from because like I work in sales, so like it's like the sale most of what's going on is the sales org in my company on Blind, and I can say most of it is true. So like it's definitely like accuracy being posted by these people. It's not just like people just posting lies and stuff. So definitely a great resource. Well, thank you now for joining us today. Do you have any social medias that you can just say so people can like reach out to you if they have any questions about becoming a technology engineer that you want to talk about?
You guys can get me on LinkedIn, Naod Deribe, Naod. I think it's like in/NAOD-DERIBE. And just connect with me on LinkedIn, and then we can have a conversation. If you'd like to follow me on Instagram, you can. My Instagram is at NEMEAUX _. And we can chat on there. But I think LinkedIn is like my best way of communicating, because I've been on LinkedIn a lot too. Like I always want to like be in the know. So yeah, reach out to me, connect to me, ask me about anything in my current role. If you need a referral, let me know. If interview or interview prep. Yeah, sure. Like if I have the bandwidth, definitely I'm happy to help. Definitely.
Perfect. I'll link them in the thumbnail too. Not the thumbnail, the description.
Okay. Cool.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Unknown Options. Great episode today. Hope everyone has a good day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and reach out to Naod if you have any questions. Thank you.
Please do. Unknown Options is taking off. This is the best platform that I've seen for any career development. So keep staying in tune. The newsletter is like coming out, so make sure you sign up.
It's definitely coming. It's coming. It's chugging along.